Hello again. I'm Steve Herron, and this is the Where Life Happens podcast, where we talk about things about home, family, community, and home as a sanctuary. And I have a very, very special guest. I know I say that every time, but my good buddy Matt Ruotolo is here today, and you are going to be blessed and encouraged by everything he has to say. I've told many people this. That when I'm down and I need a B12 shot, I go to him. So, Matt, thank you.
Oh my gosh,
I'm so glad you're here.
I freaking
And
love
we're
you,
just
man.
friends. We're so relaxed.
Yeah.
It's totally like, let's just be chill
Oh
and,
my
and act
gosh.
like we're having lunch or something.
Bro,
Okay.
anytime I get a chance to see you or spend time with you, I'm all about it. So when you called and you were like, "Hey, we're doing this thing," I'm like, "Ah, yes, let's go, bro.
Yeah.
I would love to see you, man."
Well,
So
you,
thanks for having me, bro.
well, you honor me because I knew, I just know how busy you are. You have a family, wife, two
Oh man.
kids. You have a very busy and successful
Yeah.
career. We're both real estate agents. And I just want to dive into who Matt is.
Oh
So
my
I hope you
gosh.
don't
Let's
mind the
go.
questions. You just tell me,
Yeah.
oh, we can't go there. But anyway,
We can go anywhere you want, bro. I'm an open book, man. I love
awesome.
sharing testimony. I love encouraging,
Yeah.
and I love seeing you.
Yeah.
Let's go, bro. I'm
Thank
here
you.
for it.
Well, you heard what we're about.
Yeah, yeah,
What we do day in and day
yeah,
out is get people set up for success and how they build their lives. And we get to be a part of that process, which is a huge
yeah,
blessing to both
yeah,
of us.
yeah.
It can be stressful, and we help calm people's nerves. We're often counselor more than we are negotiators,
Yeah.
but we do all of that as well. Um, but you have a unique story about how you came.
Mhm.
We're both here, based in
Yeah.
Colorado Springs,
Yeah.
Colorado. Beautiful
Yeah.
location. But I want to share your story about how you and your wife and kids came to Colorado because you are licensed in 3 states,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So you have a deep base
Yeah.
in the Carolinas,
Indeed.
right?
Still do.
Yeah, and I love that. I
Yeah.
know you've been on a
Yeah.
plane many
Yeah.
times,
Many
so
times the last several months. Yeah.
perfect. Well, tell me about that. How did you get your family out here?
Well, we had, I mean, we were settled in North Carolina. We're actually living in outside of Charlotte in Fort Mill, South Carolina,
Yeah.
and we'd been there. My wife and I had been there for 18 years. The kids had been with us. Our kids are adopted, so
Okay.
they had been with us a couple years at that point. We got them in 2017 or 18, and
That's
17.
recent.
Yeah,
It's fresh.
it seems like it, but
Yeah.
it's like, man, I keep looking at the kids; they're growing so fast. I'm like, oh my god, the last
Right.
10 years just gone by like in a blink,
Yeah, I agree.
But we were there, we were settled. I was in real estate. I was doing nothing but referral business at the time, and we were plugged in at our church. We were plugged into the community. The kids were finally settled. So coming to Colorado was not really on the agenda.
Sure.
And what had happened was we said, now that the kids are fully adopted, once the process of fostering to adopt became permanent, we said, maybe we should allow their grandparents, their real grandparents, to be involved in their life. We don't want to take that from them. We want them to be a part of their life.
I love
So they
that.
were out
That's
in
great.
Colorado. Yeah, we didn't want to, 20 years from now, the kids are like, well, we never saw the grandparents. So we decided to come out here and visit because they lived in Parker. And when we
Okay.
came out to Parker to visit, Colorado blew our minds. It was, you know, um, we were hiking. Now, of course, we came in September, which is one of the most magical times of the year for
Right.
Colorado. So we were hiking, we were biking, and in Parker, we would walk from their condo. We would walk down to downtown and have dinner and walk back. And it was a beautiful experience. We took the kids rock climbing. And, when we got home, I was depressed. I was like, I don't see the mountains. Like, there was
Right.
something that the mountains do to you spiritually, because I think the mountains look different every day. It's one of those unique settings where you can be in the same setting and it look completely different every single day.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and there's something magical to that. But anyway, so like a month goes by and I'm like, Shan, I'm really depressed. Like, I don't see the mountains. Maybe we should go back and visit again. It's kind of gotten in my heart a little bit. So I said to her, I said, listen, we should go out in January because you will hate it. It's cold and you hate the cold. So we'll just go out in January. And she's like, that's a great idea. So we come out here in January, and what happens? we fall in love all over again, right? We're
Yep.
hiking we went into the mountains in the snow, hiking.
Right.
We hiked over the frozen waterfalls. We went into the mountains. We just had an amazing experience. And so that created another problem. She fell in love with it again too. And I was like, oh, well, okay, maybe you can handle the cold out here. So we go home, and this is the end of January, and I couldn't shake it. So for the next several weeks, I just kept like thinking about it and feeling it in my spirit. So about another month goes by, and I said, Shan, I'm starting to feel like we're being called out there. And I could literally feel this spiritual tug. I'm probably going to tear up telling you this,
Go for
man,
it.
you know me, I'm an
Raw
emotional
emotion
guy. I'm
is
an emotional
awesome.
guy.
So,
But I said, I feel like God wants us to be out there, Shan, and I'm scared to death.
sure.
As much as I love this idea of Colorado, I'm scared to death.
Yeah.
Our business, it took us a long time to build it. It's referral only. All of our friends are in North Carolina. We've gone through the hard stuff with, adoption, infertility, building businesses, all these things that we went through, life with our friends. We didn't want to leave our friends. We didn't want to leave our church. We were very plugged in.
Yeah.
We didn't want to leave our community. And I think there was a part of the going into the unknown that was just intimidating. And my wife says to me, I'll never forget this as long as I live. She said, if God's calling you to do something and you don't do it, you're going to be swept away. It's like, well, what do you say to that, And I was like, okay, I tell you what, Shan, why don't we start praying? God, if you want us in the mountains. But I'm thick-headed, as you probably know, very well aware. You've known me for a while now. I need to be slapped in the back of the head with something to get it. And so I said, God, if you want, we prayed this for like 2 weeks together. We said, God, if you want us in the mountains, you need to let us know. But God, I need you to tell me in such an incredible way that I can't deny it's you. It's got to be you. And so we prayed that for 2 weeks. And then one night I come home after showing properties all day and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I get home about 8:30. Now the kids at the time were 6 and 4. So Kevin's in bed, Kimmy's in bed. It's about 8:30 at night, 8:45. I come home and I said, Shan, I'm exhausted. I'm feeling really disconnected today. I'm feeling disconnected to you and I'm feeling disconnected to God. And I just felt beat up for some reason. And I said, can we read together on the couch? And she's like, absolutely. So, what wife doesn't want their husband to grab the Bible and go read to him?
Right, right.
So we grabbed 2 different versions of the Bible, which we normally would read one and share it. But something was different about this. We grabbed 2 different versions of the Bible. We're reading on the couch, the book of James, about 9:00 at night, and my 6-year-old comes downstairs. And he's like, Mom, I can't sleep. Something's wrong with me. I don't know what's going on. Mom, like being all, extra. And I said, Kevin, come here. Come sit on the couch with us and let us read to you. Let us calm you down. And he says, okay, Dad. Gets on the couch. We read to him for about 20 minutes out of the book of James. And he gets tired and he's ready to go to bed. And so I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, all right, go on upstairs, son, so Mommy and Daddy can spend some time together. And he's like, okay, Dad. He's like bumping into the furniture. Steve, he gets to the corner of the room and he's getting ready to go up the stairs. He's 6 years old. He was just asleep. And he turns to my wife and he goes, Mommy. And his eyes are huge. It looks like he stuck his finger in a light socket. And he's like, Mommy, turn to page 28 right now. We're like, what? He said, turn to page 28 right now.
No way.
So she turned to page 28. She flipped open to Genesis and she read a paragraph and it made no sense. We were super confused. So he says, that's not it, Mommy. Keep reading. Like, what? So she reads another paragraph and it says, run to the mountains. Don't look back or you'll be swept away.
Man.
We looked at each other.
No
in astonishment.
way.
And Kevin from the edge of the stairs goes, that's it, Mommy. And he goes upstairs and goes to bed. And we just looked at each other. We never told him what we were praying for. We just looked at each other and we were like, we're moving to Colorado. So we flew out here about a month later and we even got a house. It was just a crazy story of even how we got out. I mean, the enemy attacked us when we got out here. A month later, we try to fly out here. Our flight gets canceled 3 hours before we take off, right? For no reason. We're like, you got to be kidding me. So we had to drive 3 hours or 3.5 hours to another airport in the middle of the night and take a red eye and then pay like $4,000 for airline tickets,
Oh
which it was
my.
just like, well, I wanted to vomit. And then we finally get to Colorado in an Airbnb. We get here at midnight and our Airbnb's lock is broken and they can't get the house up. We're sitting outside for like 2.5, 3 hours. Kids are crying in the car. My wife's tired. We're sitting in a parking lot until like 3 in the morning trying to get into our Airbnb. It was just like all these things. And I looked at Shan, we were in the car. She said, man, this is going to be good because we're getting so attacked. This is about to be something extraordinary. That was pretty powerful to rethink that and go, wow, you know what? Whatever's here, it's going to be amazing. The way God moved us and the way we're getting attacked on the way here. So anyway, we ended up buying a house. We ended up putting a house under contract. And then we went home and we spent the next 5 months trying to figure out how to move out here.
Yeah.
You know, and the crazy thing is, and as far as the house goes, this is how God works. We came out, we said, God, really not picky. We just want a cul-de-sac and a gas stove. And this is April. And we said, and we'd really like to close in June, if that's possible. God, if you can make those 3 things happen, we'll be totally happy. So we come out here, we worked all week, could not find a house. We found one house. We put an offer in on it. We were settling, but we put an offer in on it. It had been on the market forever. The day we put an offer in, they call us back and go, oh, we got another offer. You got to come up. We're like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So the agent actually yelled at us. And we were like, we're not coming up. This is our offer. If we're supposed to have it, God's going to make it happen. So we lost the house. So we said, okay, that's it. We're not playing those games with you. We left and we're getting ready to fly home, I think a day later. And a friend of ours says, hey, we need you to consider going to this neighborhood. And we said, we already went there. They don't have anything. She said, no, you need to go to this neighborhood. I have a feeling in my spirit. I said, okay. So we go look at the houses in that neighborhood. We find one we really like and the one model, and a guy comes out and says, what do you think of the houses? And we said, we love this particular model. And he said, well, I've got one coming on the market at 5:00. I said, what? No, you didn't have anything last week. He goes, no, I got one at 5:00. So I said, well, show it to us. We pull in a cul-de-sac. It's got a gas stove. And we just looked at each other. We said, well, this is the one. So we negotiated. And then we said, well, we really would like the basement finished if we could just do that. And he goes, well, if you do that, we can't close till June. And I said, oh, what? This is the one. So we ended up closing the house. But make a long story short, we took the next 5 months to come out here. And when we first got here, we just spent 3 months. We didn't work. We just we just toured around, got to know everything we could about Colorado. We took the kids everywhere. We explored our state, and then I started inviting everyone to go to coffee, lenders and other agents and everything, and just got to work and started learning about the area before I even started our career here. And then my wife, she started her job and I started my job about 3 or 4 months after being here. And the only way we were able to do that is because we were still working in North Carolina. We thought we were giving up all our business in North Carolina. When we moved here, we said, okay, God, we'll give up everything because we know that you're calling us and we'll go out to Colorado. And then friends kept calling us going, well, we know you're in Colorado now, but you can still help us, right? And I'm like, I guess I can.
Yeah.
And so we were able to do that business in the Carolinas before we actually got started in Colorado.
Gotcha.
But it was, it's kind of a long story about how we got here.
Right. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's crazy.
I love it. I love hearing people's stories, how they came to this area. Because, as you know, and I've mentioned on this podcast before, Colorado Springs is a very transient market.
Yeah.
And we're growing and growing. I think the last number I saw on population were around 750,000. Which is crazy.
Bananas.
It was not that when we arrived here in 2008. And you moved in, what year was that?
19. Early 19. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. We had left the area for a year and we returned late summer of 19.
Oh, so okay.
And so I'm gonna detour just for a moment because I love the story of how we came together. So I'll tell part of that, and you can tell your side as well. But we're both in the same brokerage.
Yeah.
We are with EXP Realty, but my wife and I had gone with another couple and our team to the EXP conference in Vegas.
Yes.
In 21
or 22.
I think so. Yeah. So. And we were all in the airport. We had a fabulous time, amazing people, amazing experience. First time, the second time for us. We'd gone twice in that 1 year. And so we're sitting in our seats waiting for our flight. and hear you and your wife walk up,
Yeah.
and we just start
Yeah.
talking. You're like,
In the airport.
I can talk
Yeah.
to a telephone pole.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can make friends easy. So
Yeah.
we just started chatting it up,
Yeah.
and then we were on the same flight coming
Yes.
home.
Yes. I remember that.
Which is not
Yeah.
too bizarre because
Yeah.
there were a
Yeah. We
lot
were
of
still
people
there. Yeah.
leaving the area and coming
Yeah.
back to the
Yeah.
Springs. But I just remember that connection, how fun that was,
Yeah.
and the immediate friendship we
Immediate
created.
friendship. And it's been that way ever
And
since.
it stuck.
Yeah. It stuck. It totally stuck.
And then I had a memory where we had been in the same room at a another realtor event
Yeah.
with another agent that had put on a teaching event with a title company, and we were in the same room. You were just not next to me. It finally came back to me. We were all there together. So
I'm trying to think of which one that
you
was. Was
just
it
and
something
I
that
you had
Michelle put
stood
on?
out to me. It was actually the Crystal, the Bedell tea.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I
yeah,
remember that in that
yeah,
office.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we,
Oh, wait a minute. Who brought you? I remember that. Somebody brought you, invited you.
well, it was an invitation kind of set up,
Yeah,
and
I
I
remember
signed up
that, but I
for it.
remember whoever it was that
Yeah.
invited you connected us that
Right.
day.
But
And
we have had
yeah,
so much fun
yeah,
since then.
yeah. Oh
Just all
man.
the connections, all the talks we've
Yeah.
had. I feel like sometimes you can see right into my soul, which is a gift and a curse at the same time. So I risk becoming forced into an area of vulnerability just because of how you're
Yeah,
wired,
but you know what? The real friendships, the ones that mean the most to me, are the most vulnerable.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like the ones where you can say, "Listen, man, this is my soul."
Yeah.
Not everyone deserves that right to hear it or see it,
Sure.
but here's my soul.
Sure enough.
I value
Yeah.
and treasure that kind of relationship,
I
bro.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And I remember when we first met, everyone was exhausted from the week
Oh
from
yeah.
being in Vegas. So everyone's sitting in their
It's
seats
very
like
quiet.
this. And you were not. You were up, you matched me energy for energy. And I was like,
Yeah.
I like this guy.
And
We just talked the whole time.
yeah, and both of our
Yeah.
wives are very
Very,
reserved.
very reserved.
They
Yeah.
they are great one on
Yeah.
one, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I was like, oh, this guy,
yeah,
you stood out. Like you stood out to me. So the feeling was mutual,
yeah.
bro.
It's
Yeah.
been so fun ever
Yeah.
since.
Dude, we go to car shows together, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's another favorite
You're
thing we
calling me
have
to
to
let's
do.
go. I love going
And
to
we
car
have
shows with you.
great ones here.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a car enthusiast,
Yeah.
this is a market for
Oh
that.
man. Yeah.
There's so much
So
money
much
here.
money. So many
People
cars here.
play and they have their toys.
They do
and
here.
it's a fun thing, and it's a great community.
Oh, it's a great
People
community.
just love on each other.
Yeah.
They're best friends,
Yeah.
and they just show up and show
That's
out. So it's
all
so
because
great.
of that kind of stuff that we've been doing and like you really kind of fostering that with us.
Right.
I've decided that, at some point here soon, I'm getting some sort of car that we can be taking back and forth to car
Same
shows
here.
and spend the time there. The communication, the connection is incredible in a community
Exactly.
like that.
So
I love it.
before we leave
Yeah.
your family scenario,
Mhm.
I do want to share with everyone how you went from fostering to adopt. Were they the first kids you'd ever fostered, or?
Well, technically, no, really. We had adopted my brother-in-law, when he was 13 years old.
Got
His
it.
parents went through a terrible divorce, and it was very hard on him. And he
Yeah.
wanted to live with us, and so we adopted him. And then we
Wow.
ended up adopting his best friend, whose
Oh my
parents
word.
you didn't know this, yeah. His parents were drug addicts, and they were never in the home. There was no food in the home. It was
Right.
just kind of like fend for yourself at a young age. So his mom actually helped us get custody of him, and we raised two teenage boys. So that
Okay.
was kind of like the first like experience with it. So I tell our kids today, I'm like, wow, you're beat because we've already been down this road. So
Right.
you're not gonna get
I'm
away with
ready.
nothing. I'm ready for
I'm
this.
prepped.
We're as ready as I can be. But no, it's kind of a crazy story. If you want me to share
That would
the
be
story,
great
it's
because I've heard parts of
yeah.
it, and it's pretty remarkable.
The
I think it would encourage someone listening to
oh
this
man,
that is considering fostering,
yeah,
considering adoption,
yeah.
that you have a beautiful family.
Oh
It's
man,
a shining light to every one of us around
man, I
when
received
we
that.
see it.
I
So
received
yeah,
that, brother.
your kids adore you.
I just love them so much, man. They've impacted our life so much. So
Yeah.
they, full transparency, going back to how the kids even got to us. In 2015, I was in a teen challenge, which is
Okay.
a addiction recovery program,
Okay.
faith based, and so I had the blessing of being on a men's choir that was only 10 of us out of the entire group were
Yeah.
allowed to travel around a little bit. And so we were traveling around sharing testimony of just how our lives were radically transformed. And we were on the East Coast tour, and I just had an unbelievable experience on this tour.
Right.
Some incredible places, some incredible experiences. And so I called my wife and I said, one day when I graduate, I'm going to take you back to these locations.
Okay.
And so I had graduated that program a few months later, and then the following year that choir was on tour again. And so I called up the choir director and I said, hey, listen, my wife and I want to come up and visit you guys on the tour and remember where we were the year before and help and share the experience so my wife can see us. And we were traveling around with them. And while we were there, my wife was taking pictures of all the places we were going and things that we were doing, and she was posting on my Facebook. And actually, I need to go back just a second.
Okay.
So in that year that I had graduated from that December that year, we decided we were going to start our own family. And we had struggled with infertility for 8 years, and it just never happened. So in August of that year, I graduated in December. In August of that year, we rented a van and we took like 10 people from our church, and they brought in a couple of other people that were missionaries. And we went and served the victims of Hurricane Matthew, where there was a big flood. And so we went and served these individuals and this community. And while we were there, this is August, a woman comes up who's a missionary, and we heard about her. She was like, connected spiritually. She came up to my wife at the event that we were serving at, and she said, hey, God just spoke to me and told me you two were going to have multiple children. And my wife latched on to everything she said, and I got angry. Yeah. I got really annoyed because I said, don't say that, because you don't know what we've been going through. Mm-hmm. Please don't do that. And she just kind of giggled. She's like, that's okay, whether you believe it or don't, but God just spoke to me and told me you two were going to have multiple children. Like, all right. So my wife says, after that weekend, she's like, maybe what we're thinking of a traditional family is not what God has in mind. Sure. Maybe it's adoption. Maybe it's something like that. And I was like, I'm not ready for that. I want to keep trying. So she was persistent for a month because she was hanging on to what the woman said. So now in September, she says, I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you away for the weekend and we're going to go pray about adoption. I'm going to take you to the Outer Banks in North Carolina, and we're going to go and we're going to just take the weekend. We're going to get a bed and breakfast, and we're just going to pray about it. We're going to spend the weekend in prayer and peace, so to speak. And so we drove out there, a 6-hour drive, and I'm joking in the back seat, yelling at the kids in the back seat, being funny, right? Like, don't you make me come back there. And I'm kind of joking around about having kids in the car, about what that trip would be like. What it would look like with a family. And we're having so much fun with this conversation. Sure. We get down to the beach though, and we go to a facility that we had started working with, helping men and women that are struggling with addiction get into other faith-based programs. So we went down to visit the director of this program called Dare Challenge, where we had actually, in the year since I graduated, we had a couple men in. So we went to see the guys and just check in on them while we were at the beach. And he says, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I said, well, we just got here. I was thinking about going and put my feet in the sand, maybe grab some crab legs and hang out with Shane on the beach tonight. And he goes, well, there's this little country church right down the road if you want to go. I think you should go. And I said, no, I think we're good. I think I'm good. And Shane goes, honey, maybe God's got something for us. Yeah. I said, okay. All right, we'll go. So we go to this church, and we were talking about adoption up the front steps of this church. And we go in, and I'm really uncomfortable. There's only like 30 people in the room. Pastor comes out, and he's walking out on the stage. It was like he walked into a wall that we could not see. And he goes, I don't know where we're going to go with this. I have no idea what's going on right now. But the Holy Spirit just stopped me. Somebody out there tonight needs to specifically hear about adoption. I looked at my wife like, what did he just say? She said, somebody tonight, I don't know where we're going with this. Yeah. So he calls his wife up, and his daughter, and they just have a Q&A about adoption, what it felt like for her to be adopted, how it changed her life. What does it feel like now? Has there been any difference between, her biological parents and her actual parents? And I was wrecked. At the end of the service, I am absolutely in tears. I went up to the pastor. I said, it was us. It was for us. We were the ones that came this weekend to pray about adoption, and he just starts crying. He prayed over us. He said, I knew it. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
And so
Great moment.
we left that weekend. This was September. We left that weekend. I said, okay, I'm ready. God moved my heart in one service. I'm ready to explore adoption.
Right.
I said, but before we go and adopt, this was the next month, October. I said, let's go up to New England and travel with the Teen Challenge Choir. So that's going back to that part of the story.
Okay.
I said, so we went up and we toured around with the choir the next month. I said, I want to take you to New England for 10 days and just have an experience before we start adoption. We were going to start in January. Well, while we were up there, my wife's taking pictures of us doing things, and she posted on Facebook. And some cousins I haven't seen in 35 years reach out to my wife and said, oh my God, you guys are in New England. You need to come see us. And I'm like, and my wife goes, hey, they want to come see us. I'm like, no, we got one day left. I was like, I'm taking you hiking up Mount Washington, and we're drinking from the waterfalls. We're having a picnic. I've got it all planned out. She's like, honey, maybe God's got something for us. I went, oh.
That phrase again.
Okay, we'll go, So we drive 2.5 hours. We go see them in New England, and they've got a big feast made for us. And I'm looking at them like I recognize them, but I haven't seen them in 35 years, but they look sort of familiar. And we're talking, and there's a moment of silence. And I said, so Shan and I are thinking of adopting. And the whole room got quiet.
Silence.
And I felt this little hand come under the table. Like, when you've said something dumb and your wife gives you the little, nobody sees the hand. And I just kind of look down, and I look over at my cousins, and their lips are trembling. And one of my cousins goes, do you want 2 children? I went, who asked that kind of question?
Right.
Yeah, like, what? And he goes, I'm serious. And I look at the other cousin, and she's like, tears coming out of her eyes. She goes, oh my gosh, he's serious. I was like, what? You have got to explain what's going on, because we're super confused now. And she goes, you're not going to believe this. We have spent the last 2 weeks in prayer. You have 2 cousins, little cousins. They were, I think, 2 and 3 at the time. She said that their parents lost their parental rights. They unfortunately were in a situation where they gave their baby sister some medicine. The baby died. Parents were arrested, put in prison.
Oh, man.
And the kids have bounced around from home to home, and they're in not a good situation. And we've been praying specifically that God send a family member to adopt them, and you just walked in the door. You're a family member, and you said you want to adopt children. They lost it at the table, and then we just started crying. We're like, oh my gosh, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here for them. So we flew home the next day, and we started the process of adopting the children.
Right.
So that's how we got them. And then we built over the year, or a little less than a year, we built the relationship with them. We would do Zoom calls with them weekly. We would go up to visit them. We had supervised time with them. And then we started to build a relationship with them. And then through
quite a process.
Yeah. And then we fortunately had an advocate who fell in love with our story, and she pushed what should have been a 2-year process down into 10, 11 months. She fought very hard for us. Her name's Karen Sabit. Love that woman to death. And, who's now one of the agents on our team, which is wild.
Wow.
Yeah, a whole wild story. But anyway, she, once we got the kids and they came to us, it was interesting because when they're in the foster care system, you can't really hug your children. You can't have physical touch with them.
Yeah.
You can't, there's certain things you can and cannot do. And it was weird. That was a weird part, for me, because they're your children, but they're not quite yet when you're doing through the foster program, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, once we had them maybe 7, 8 months, or maybe, somewhere in that neighborhood, Kevin started acting out really wildly. We were falling in love with them. They were falling in love with us. They were changing our lives, and we were changing theirs. But then there came this point where Kevin hit a wall, and he started acting out and just being a total tyrant. And even at his little preschool, they were like, we don't know what just happened to this child. It's like a switch flipped. And we couldn't explain it. He was angry and bitter and crying and yelling, and we just didn't know what was going on. So one night I'm holding him, and I'm like, you've got to explain to me, but he couldn't express it.
Yeah.
So he was having a hard time expressing himself. And so I said, okay, draw it. Because he would doodle a lot. And I said, okay. So he takes this big piece of paper, and he gets down on the floor, and he draws this big circle. And he draws a house with 2 people and a dog. And then he draws a plane over it with an arrow, and he puts 120 days. We're like, what?
Huh.
So he draws another house and two people, a dog and a cat, another
Oh,
plane over the top of that with an arrow, and he says 88 days or 180 days.
yeah.
And then he draws a third one, and this one said like 170 days, 180 days. It was a very similar time frame, and with a plane. And he said, "I've been here 180 days. They're going to come and get me."
Yeah. At that age, he
How does a
could feel
5 year
that.
old
Yeah.
know how to calculate that, number one, and express that so profoundly? He said, "They're going to come and get me." I, I lost it.
Sure.
I picked him up and put him on my shoulders, and I used to carry him around from mirror to mirror in the house. Every mirror that we had, and I would do it repeatedly, up and downstairs, put him on my shoulders. And I would get in the mirror and I'd say, you repeat after me. I am loved. I am wanted. I am safe. I am home. I am loved. I am wanted. I am safe. I am home, until he started to smile. And
Mm.
that broke him a little bit. He changed a little bit through that process. Like he would mellow out. And when we told him, the court system had called us, said, okay, we'll you guys have fulfilled this part. We're going to process it to be a permanent thing in this time frame. When we told Kevin that, and Kimmy, he would run out to the mailbox every day until he didn't believe it. He said, I'll believe it when, at 5 years old, he said, I'll believe it when the paperwork comes and says my name is Ruotolo.
Huh.
And he would go out there faithfully every day, every single day, looking for the mail. Even on Sundays, that kid would go out. He's like, just in case they sent it.
Right.
And the day that came was like, I think it was like a December 9th or 19th or something like that. We got the paperwork. That kid has been a different child ever since.
Sure.
A different child ever since. And they've lived a very hard life. They had a lot of challenges that they faced, and a lot of traumas that we had to work through. And it bonded us in an incredible way. And something recently happened at church that showed me that the kids are built differently. And so I appreciate you saying that they're special children, because they're really incredible. There was a room full of children, and the youth leader said, if you feel judged, if you feel unworthy, if you feel unloved, if you feel these things, move to the other side of the room.
Hmm.
Every child moved to the other side of the room except ours. And they said, we don't think you understood what we said. If you feel these things, move to the other side of the room. And they did not move.
Stay
And she said,
put.
why are you not moving? And my daughter goes, because we know who we belong to.
Wow.
I said, man, like, people have come up to us many times and they go, man, you guys are doing like great job as parents. Like, your kids are different. And I went, I think they're changing our lives just as much as we are them. It is not me and Shan so much as it is. I mean, it's all of us collectively working together as a family. But people tell me to this day, they're like, they would never know they're adopted. You'd never know.
No.
They're like, nobody knows. They're like you. They're like, they're your children. So
Yeah.
it's been a crazy journey. It is a life-changing journey. And I tell them all the time, the greatest gift that God ever gave us was being your parents.
What a story.
Yeah. Yeah. They're our world.
I'm thankful you felt so at peace and comfortable to share that with
Oh
us,
yeah.
because someone's going to hear this
Yeah.
and it's going to speak volumes. It's going to
Yeah.
change someone's life.
Pain has a purpose,
Yeah.
and there's often a path that's revealed through that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change us forever.
So when we talk about home as a sanctuary, you too built sanctuary for them. I mean, in the most real sense that I can ever imagine, because they did not have that before. So what is your home like today? Describe to us how you protect what happens in those walls.
Utter chaos.
They're still kids.
They're still kids,
Yeah.
and they are still, we have a beautiful home that we were blessed to even have the opportunity to get. But so we have a 4 dogs, which I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
We have 2 boxers and 2 Frenchies. And so the kids are in this environment where they have responsibilities. They have pets. I really think pets are a very important part of a childhood. I really do.
Sure.
There's something extraordinary about the love of an animal. we do a lot of things together. In the house, we have a movie night that we do. It's just our family night. We're
Yeah.
not on phones. It's us together. We date our children. So we'll go and like, I mean that kind of we would take them one on one and go
Yeah.
places like some, and we alternate
They
that.
need time to
They
be
need,
heard.
they need
So,
time to be heard.
yeah,
And then
sure.
we do things one on one with them. So like right now, Shan and Kimmy are in Phoenix at a conference, and Shan took her, and that's their mommy daughter time, and they're FaceTiming us last night. They're at
Great.
this downtown thing at
Yeah.
getting dinner and doing their stuff, and then they're FaceTiming us. They're at the pool and they're in the hot tub together, and they're having a great time. Kevin and I just got back from the most incredible father-son journey across the country, where he flew to Chicago, rented a
Yeah.
car, and rode Route 66
Oh,
together.
my word.
And it was
What
unbelievable.
a
Like,
dream trip.
it was a dream trip for me and for him.
Yeah.
And we had personal father-son talks. We had life talks.
Sure.
It was in an environment where it was like, we're together. And when am I ever going to get this opportunity again? And so he would ask me things like, he'd go, Dad, what's the most trouble you ever got in when you were growing up? Dad, what are some of the crazy things you're going to do? He told me he was like planning a list of all the things he was going to ask me on the trip, which cracked me up. We had some really cool experiences. We got a
Right.
chance to have lifetime experiences together. So we do a lot of things with the children like that. And I think it's very, very healthy for a family to do a lot of do some things one-on-one, because a child, if there's multiple children in the house, each one needs to be heard.
Right.
And I think that's vital. But no, we alternate and do that kind of thing. And we Shan, to her credit, is like, everything's got to be tease her about this, but everything's got to be equal. And everything has to be together. If one person is tired, doesn't matter. We all go to the store together. If
Mhm.
if you've got time during the day to do it and you're by yourself, you wait until we all have time and we go together. And I used to tease her about it,
Yeah.
but it's actually been a beautiful thing. It's
Right.
really set these kind of, I don't want to say boundaries, but it set these expectations in the house that everybody's together.
Yeah.
And we also we don't give the kids a hard time if they tell us something tough. We praise them for it, and we work through things when they share difficult things with it. I mean, they will tell us honestly, how they're feeling or what's going on or what somebody did or something like that. And so we talk through that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's important. We open lines of communication.
I commend you. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I'm comparing. Well, I shouldn't say compare, but I am thinking about some of the things we've done with our kids. We have 4,
Yeah.
and now they're all 20 and up. And I just
Yeah.
hope they remember
They do.
all the effort that we put in, and the
do.
things they bring up that they remember that was special to them
Mhm.
was some of the most ordinary days, just the day in, day out, normal routine
Mhm.
that they remember something stuck with them in a good way. And we've done the
Yeah.
trips.
Yeah.
We've traveled a lot. We've moved a lot. My kids
Yeah.
are so resilient.
Yeah.
So kids teach us a lot.
Bro,
And
I'm
now that they're
constantly- yeah.
older, they see how flawed we are.
Who are you telling?
Oh my gosh. And they love to needle me about it. It gets comical,
Oh God.
but a bit eye-opening as
Yeah.
well when they know you so well.
My son said something to me maybe 2 months ago or 3 months ago. We were in Oklahoma City and we went to visit some people down there. And I walk into this hotel and there's a buddy of mine that's in there. And I'm like, yo, bro, what's up, man? I do the big thing and I give him hugs and everything. And Kevin like backs off like, oh my gosh, my dad's so obnoxious,
Yeah, I'm
And
not used to seeing
I'm
you
not,
like that.
yeah, right. You've never seen me like this. So Kevin goes, Dad, he tells me later, he goes, Dad, you're so obnoxious. And my wife died laughing when he said that. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, every time you see one of your friends, you're so loud and you're like so big.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know why I do that, son? He said, no. I said, because that person's the most important person in the room to me.
Uh-huh.
And they're not going to forget that.
Yeah.
And he said, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I get that. I said, they're the most important person in the room to me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I get it. So we've kind of jokingly talked about that, but he doesn't give me a hard time anymore.
Mhm.
It's like, man, just some of the things, the impressionable things. And I also said to him one time, you had mentioned something like the smallest things or the biggest things.
Right.
I'm in the car one day and I always ask the children like, hey, what was your high today? Or what was your low? Or what's one of your favorite things about your mom? What's one of your favorite things about your dad? But that day I said, Kevin, what's one of your favorite things about dad? He said, that you want to spend time with me.
Oh,
Bro,
best compliment you could ever
lost.
get. Yeah. Yeah.
Waterworks, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, man, I get that, son.
Yeah.
You know, and I explained to him a lot of times. I said, listen, I'm not perfect because I grew up this way and I had this, but I
Yeah.
didn't have this. And I just want you to know I'm still trying to fight through learning how to be the best dad I can.
Yeah.
It's funny one day because he goes, Dad, are you trying to perfect anything? And I said, well, yeah, son, I'm trying to be the best realtor I can be. I'm trying to be the best dad I can be. I'm trying to be the best friend I can be. And he goes, well, what about a husband? I said, oh, well, yeah, that too, Dad. That too, son. I'm trying to be the best husband I can be. He goes, well, that's got to be pretty tough because mom's one tough cookie, Dad.
Yeah.
We started laughing because that's another thing that I think it really, to my wife's credit, why the kids are so good. It's not their dad, because if it weren't for her, I'd forget to feed them. I'd forget to do their homework. I'd forget. They joke about that all the time, but my wife has great boundaries for those children. They know
Sure.
what they can and cannot get away with, and they don't press past that because she
Toe the line.
they know the minute mom has they've crossed the line with mom. So to her credit, she has helped create an environment of boundaries, safety, love, and togetherness.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, thank you for sharing that.
Oh man, I love sharing it, brother. It's a joy in my life.
So, you are very high on the community service vein of life.
Love it.
You were just telling us coming into the studio that you were serving at 5 a.m. this morning.
Indeed we were.
So you can touch on that. And I also want to talk about your annual event. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But tell me what you were up to today.
Well, today we were out. Lauren Jordan and some of our team, they were out serving the military.
Right.
We got Christmas gifts. We all went shopping. Delray Vasquez
Awesome.
and Nick Ankrum and everybody. They were all together yesterday and buying Christmas gifts. Crystal Bedell was with them, and
Right.
they're buying presents.
Awesome people.
Yeah, oh, they're
all of them.
incredible people. I just love these people.
They work so hard.
They do, and they're givers. They're bigger givers than people ever realize.
Right.
But we were doing all the shopping yesterday, and we went this morning and we delivered them out of the truck. We put them in book bags and we hiked like 3/4 of a mile down the post or the base, and then delivered the presents where they're going to go out and give them to families and stuff like that. And then we had donuts and music and all this stuff. It was cool. So then then I took my son and we walked around the base for a little bit, looked at some of the old artillery. That was really cool.
Isn't it fun?
Oh, yeah, I love that's my favorite part.
Great.
So then we got back. I said, "Whoa, I got to hurry up. I got to meet Steve this morning." I said, "That's one of my buddies. I got to meet him." So, kind of my motto with both business and life is nobody cares what I do for a living. Nobody cares how much money I make. Nobody cares the house I live in or the car that I drive.
Yeah.
But at the end of my life, they will only care if I made an impact.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm in a race to do. When I moved here to Colorado, and I started from scratch, I started from zero. How I built my business here was I'm going to give it all away. I'm going to go and figure out how to support people, ministries, missions, things like that. I started supporting a mission that rescues trafficked women. And so I started contributing my commissions to that fund so they could go out and have more. And they would send people our way. It was crazy. Then I was working with another ministry that helps rescue helps men and women that are struggling with drug addiction and get faith-based help. And I said, God, I want to be a part of that mission. So I want to pour into the guys and support them. And I want to support them financially. And so I started giving my commission. Shannon and I started, praying over and giving our commissions to support that mission. And then they were sending people our way. It was like, we kept trying to give it away and God kept bringing it back. So everywhere that I'm at, I'm in a servant role. I believe that servitude will keep you humble. Number one, I don't ever want to get too big for my britches. And you're from the South, so you know that. You know that phrase. And I don't want to. I'm not a flashy guy. I'm not this stuff doesn't do it for me. But I want to give back, and I want to be, I try to teach our children that making an impact is more important than making a dollar. And so go do that. If you chase relationships and you chase servitude, I promise you, God will give you everything that you need and provide all that you need to be where you are.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now tell me, your team
Yeah.
hosts, or at least co-hosts, an annual event.
Yes.
I want you to
Yeah.
touch on that
Some of
because
the
it's
haircuts are
so
heroes.
important
Oh man,
to our military in this community.
I
So
love it.
tell us about it. What was
Yeah.
it called again?
Well, a few years ago, um,
Because it's grown.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
evolved.
it's evolving. It's getting bigger this year too.
Yeah.
We got some big. We got Indian motorcycles as a part of it now.
Awesome.
So we just a few years ago, a friend of mine, Delray Vasquez, and her husband Sammy Vasquez, just love them with all my heart.
Yeah.
I asked her one day. I said, what is it? Where is it that you want to make an impact? And I ask all the agents that. Forget the business. Where do you want to make an impact? And she said, I want to make an impact in the military. Because she's a military spouse. Her husband is served, for years. And
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm going to go support you in that because I support the agents just as much as I do the community. So we went and we said, okay, we joined with Military Network of Colorado for EXP. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to take on a role there. It's all volunteer. And I said, I'm going to take on that role so I can bring her up into that. And lo and behold, she got involved. And so we were teammates of saying, okay, now how do we want to give back to the community? What does that look like?
Right.
So I'm getting my hair cut at a phenomenal place called Neon's Barbershop and Salon. Our whole family goes there, wife, kids, everybody.
Yeah.
And so I was talking with the owner, who's a very good friend of mine, and I said, listen, you do this thing called Cuts for Smiles, and where you cut inner city kids or kids that can't afford to get their hair cut, you help the parents out, you cut all their kids' hair
Back
for
to
free,
school,
back
all
to
those
school.
kind of things. Yeah.
And I said, what if we did something like that for the military, but we put it in steroids? We did food trucks and bands and fireworks and all this other stuff. He goes, I love it. I've been looking for a way to serve the military. I said, really? So our first year, I said, well, let's just do it on 4th of July. And he's like, all right, great. To his credit, his name is Gerald Bray. And him and his wife, they went and hired some of the best barbers in town. And he got a hold of the news station, and they came and supported it. We actually had 4 or 5 news stations show up the day of the event.
Sure.
We invited vendors out, all military-based vendors. So we had resources for the military. We had fun things for the family, for the kids. So it was a family event. We had 3 bands. We had food trucks. We had all kinds of entertainment. And then we had a fireworks show at the end of the night. Well, people were like, whoa, that was a lot bigger than we thought it was going to be. And we had tried to go get sponsors, and everybody was like, oh, no, it's a haircut thing. That doesn't sound like it's going to be that big a deal. Well, after it got featured on 3 or 4 news channels, people called me up, and they're like, all right, okay, wait a minute, hold on. We didn't know. We're sorry. We want to do next year.
Coming out of the woodwork.
So coming out of the woodwork. So we had multiple people come on board. And, Indian motorcycles actually came on this year. That was a really cool thing because we did a salute with the revving the motors at the event. And it got everybody's attention. It was really cool. We had big vendors. We had a guy running for governor come out this year and speak from the stage. So it was a lot more. I mean, it got even bigger this year.
Sure.
And even the people that were a part of it this year said, well, gosh, we didn't know it was going to be so big. We want to go bigger next year and our sponsorship with you guys, because what you're doing on the civilian side is incredible. This is the deal. You come, if you're a military member or your family or your spouse or your children, whether you're active duty or a veteran, you get your hair cut by a professional, not some little Walmart barber, by a professional. It was all free to everyone. Kids, you, wives, everyone. I mean, that's $50 a haircut. Let's say a family of 4, you're giving $200 right there. And it's all for free. Then the music, the entertainment, all that other stuff was all free to them. The only other thing they had to really pay for was food from the food trucks because they're their own contractors. But people were like, wow, this is an event that's given to us for free, where everyone in the family is entertained. It's wholesome, and they just kept coming and coming
Yeah.
and coming. And I think we had 1,500 people
Wow.
throughout the day come. It was pretty
It's a
significant.
great outdoor event.
Oh, it was awesome. It was
because-
outdoor on
yeah.
July 4th. And we end the night with a fireworks show,
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was fire, you know? So yeah, it's become a thing now,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's amazing how a simple idea
Yeah. Simple idea.
you just gotta ignite the spark
Yeah.
and let it grow organically.
Yeah.
And so this year will be even bigger
Yeah.
than before.
It's going to be even bigger this year. We've got a number of people that go, hey, we're right here. We just want to be a part of it. So we're changing locations this year.
Okay.
We're going to go a little bit bigger on the location as far as parking lot. It's going to be a little bit further south. But the store, Neon's Barbershop and Salon, moved to a different location. So we're using a location very close to that because we have to have all the cutting material. I mean, all the, for them to be able to cut and everything, you got to be in a certain, certain setup to have all the barbershops and everything, because they bring their chairs out and they've lined up the sidewalks with them. So, but it's actually it's going to be a bigger event this year. It'll be on July 4th of 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to that.
Haircuts for Heroes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Number 3. And just like that.
Just like
year
that.
3.
We actually won an award in Miami for the military network. I didn't even know that was a thing. We got an award for it. Yeah. For national award for that.
Right.
It's just like, man, we're just trying to give it away. We're not looking for recognition, but it was kind of cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it was very collaborative.
Very collaborative.
Sure there were multiple agents involved.
Multiple agents involved.
Vendors,
Multiple
business
vendors.
people.
I mean, it's crazy that Crystal Bedell and Sean Bedell, they came and brought their photo booth and they helped support us. And we had other agents that came by and were a part of it and volunteering and supporting and helping and doing things throughout the day. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome event.
Yeah, man. Thanks, bro.
So let's talk a little bit about, your career. You've been an agent how long now?
I've been an agent for 10 years.
10 years.
9 years.
9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've made such an impact of growing into another market. You go back and forth. You serve your clients, commercial, residential. You do all those things.
I do. I tripped and kind of fell into this career. I knew God had called me into it. And
you're using it to impact communities too. Yeah. That's obvious.
Well, I think it's important to like kind of know how I even got into the career, and then you'll see why I serve the way that I do. I was in Teen Challenge. I was a week from it was 4 days from graduating Teen Challenge. And I'd been praying for months. God, what direction do you want me to go in my life? I'm going to graduate. I'm going to go back, and I can't go back to the career I was in. What do you want? How do you want me to provide for my family?
Yeah.
And it used to be in banking. But I had a very clear vision. I'm not supposed to go that way. God gave me a dream that it was not supposed to go that direction.
Right.
I said, all right, what do you want me to do, God? I'm passing out toys at a Toys for Tots with the military at that time. And a woman asked me what I did. And I said, well, I'm in Teen Challenge right now. And she's like, oh, that's an amazing program. I'm really proud of you. I said, you're not judging me? She said, why would I do that? I said, because the rest of them are treating us like drug addicts, but you did not. I said, what do you do for a living? She said, I'm a real estate agent. I was like, okay. In one ear and out the other. And this woman leaned forward and she changed my life forever. She goes, oh my gosh, she was my agent and now we're friends. I said, what, did you two know each other ahead of time? She's like, no. I was like, do you mean to tell me you got together for business? You became friends and now you're serving the community together?
Yeah.
She was like, yeah. I put the toys down. And I said, that's what I want for my life. And I feel like God used these two women to speak into me. And so whenever I put the toys down, I called my wife, I said, Jan, I think I want to be a real estate agent. She screams in the phone. She's like, oh my God, I've been telling you for 10 years. You'll be amazing. I said, do you support this? She said, yeah.
Yeah.
So for, 2 or 3 weeks later, I was in real estate school.
Yeah.
So I was kind of steered into that direction just by going, wow, they got together, built a relationship, did business together. Now they're serving together.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. That's what I'm chasing. And I literally felt God press that on my heart.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And just like you said earlier, you do everything on steroids.
Yeah.
So.
I just,
you don't know any other way.
I feel this way on the inside, so that's how I come across on the outside for sure.
I often wonder, how do you even sleep at night?
Oh,
you probably
brother.
sleep with a smile on your face because the energy coming out of you is always.
It's so funny. Everyone says
level.
that. They're like, I don't understand your energy all day. I said, yeah, but when I get home and I crash, it's like a button just went on.
Right.
Somebody pressed the button and I went,
I'm done.
I'm down. I go from 0 to 100 and then 100 to 0.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I like to ask my guests
Yeah.
this. So you've lived a little,
Hmm.
you've experienced a lot, squeezed a lot of living into, your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
If you had 60 seconds with me, what would you want me to carry away? I love putting people on the spot like this. Just,
If I could tell you anything, if I could just spend time with you and make an impression on you,
yeah,
I would say, Steve, that you've made a positive impact in my life. You continue to. You're a friend that I treasure the relationship with. I don't get enough time with you. I wish I had more. I am a squirrel, and so sometimes I miss connecting, but I always know that I carry you with me in my heart. And if I could lead you in any way in life, I would say, hey, man, the more you give of yourself, the more you'll be fulfilled.
right. All right. I feel that. I'll take
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go,
Any
bro.
parting thoughts? Anything else on your mind today? We've
I
covered
just
a lot.
cherish this time, brother. I
Yeah.
cherish this time. I mean, just I love the fact that you're creating a platform to share a story.
Yeah.
I know you, and I know you're a real estate agent, as is my. And I love the fact that you didn't make that's not what this really is.
Yeah.
It has some of that aspect to it because this is what we do, right? And
Hmm.
so we talk about what we know. But I love the fact that you created a platform for number one. It's an honor to share my testimony because I hope it impacts someone. Because all I'm trying to do is race to make an impact. That's
Right.
it. And also documenting the story carries it on. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you creating the platform.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you for
man.
being
Oh
here.
man, I
I
love you,
mean,
dude.
I will treasure this for years to
So will
come,
I, bro.
and I will watch it
Let's
over and over
go. I will
again.
too, bro. Let's
I can't
go, man.
wait.
Let's go,
I
man.
can't wait to do more
Yeah,
together to serve
yeah,
our community. And
yeah,
I know
yeah,
life is still offering up more ideas, more
yeah,
opportunities.
yeah,
In a different stage of life. Like I mentioned,
yeah,
my kids are all 20 and up.
yeah.
They're not going to be at home forever.
No, man.
And so what does that look like?
Yeah,
Our home, our sanctuary
mm,
is changing,
yeah,
and I'm excited about that.
yeah,
Uh, I long for those
yeah,
days when they
yeah.
were all little and you could keep them all in the box, so to
You're
speak.
speaking to my heart right now, bro.
But and I tell young parents all the time, today may seem hard because
Hmm.
you've heard that phrase. The days are long, but the years are
The years are short,
short.
man. They really are.
The decades now, at my age,
Hmm.
are short,
Bro.
and it's hard to change and
Hmm.
transition. But I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I have grandkids now, and
Yeah,
I
it's crazy.
love that.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm glad I'm still youthful enough and
yeah,
have energy enough to be there for
yeah,
them. And so I thank God for the capacity He's given
yeah,
me for
yeah,
extra relationships,
yeah,
hundreds and hundreds of friendships, and I look forward to more children He's going to
yeah,
give us.
yeah.
You know,
Let's get some full
it's a
quivers
great
in
day.
the house, man. It's a great day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I tell young parents all the
Yeah.
time, I said, these are the easy days.
Yeah.
I know it's
It
hard
don't
and
seem
you're
like it, but they're the easy
exhausted,
days.
but when they get older and they're making their own decisions,
Hmm.
I think I've prayed harder for my kids now than I ever
Yeah.
have before.
Yeah.
Because you want to help them avoid the speed bumps that you've
Yeah.
hit,
Yeah.
but they learn from pain.
Do my
It's a
son?
great teacher.
My son said when we were going on that trip, when he was making the list of questions he wanted to ask me, I said, what's the thing you want to know about the most of all those questions you have? He goes, Dad, I want to know what mistakes you made. I was like, whoa. I said, you sure you got enough? We don't have enough time for that. I said, I said, you sure? So on the trip, I shared a lot of mistakes I'd made in my life,
Yeah,
and so he didn't have to. And so it's like, yeah, I get
yeah,
that. Yeah,
cool.
I get it.
Thanks
Hey
again. I
man, love
love
you,
you.
bro.
I
Love you, bro.
appreciate you. I love your family. I'm
Appreciate you.
glad my family is friends with your family.
Same, brother.
So,
Same. Let's go,
all
man.
right.
All right. Thanks for having me, brother.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.